This review of Pragmata was filmed before Sony announced they were no longer going to produce physical games starting January 2028. Now, that said, a little spoiler, I recommend this game to the highest degree. However, whatever you do, do not buy this game digital on PlayStation 5. Buy a physical copy, bonus points if you get it second-handed, and also stick around to the end of the video where I played the demo of the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game, and I'm absolutely blown away with how good and on par the Nintendo Switch 2 version is compared with the PlayStation 5, which I 100% and got the Platinum Trophy on. So if you really want to hurt Sony on the battle for physical media, get the physical game key card on Nintendo Switch 2. That'll hurt them the most. Otherwise, secondhand market, physical copy, just whatever you do, do not buy the digital copy on PlayStation 5. And with that out of the way, enjoy the video. Alright you guys, I just finished up getting the Platinum Trophy on Pragmata. I played 2 PlayStation games this year in 2026. I've gotten 2 Platinum Trophies, but I swear I'm no longer addicted to achievements. I promise. Just sometimes the Platinum Trophy experience is a ton of fun. And this is the gold standard Platinum Trophy experience. It's everything I want. This game, I've been talking about on this channel for quite a bit because I've so far put 32 hours into the game. And that's how long it took me to get the Platinum Trophy. And I loved every second of it. And this is my favorite kind of game, right? The base game is 8 to 10 hours long. And that's all it needed to be. And if you play that, and I was very happy with that 8 to 10 hour experience. I was so happy with that 8 to 10 hour experience. I wanted to do the post game, and I wanted to do hard mode. And like there's a couple other little side achievements too. And I ended up getting 32 hours out of this game, and I like that. I like being able to have a game that's short and have the option of going to 32, and the game have to like really work and prove itself to be good and worth the 32 hours versus a game full of bloat and this big open interconnected world, and then it just makes it a 32 to like 60-hour long game, and like just by doing everything you get the Platinum Trophy. I don't know. This was a gold standard. I've been talking about this on the channel quite a bit. I was in love with the game from the very beginning. I thought the gameplay was just so unique, and that's what I love the most about this game is truly the gameplay, the shooting and the hacking combination. It's a ton of fun. I got the Platinum. I'm honestly still not tired of it. Like, I could play this again, and that's a feeling I haven't had for a very long time, ever since Gears of War. And so yeah, I just feel like that over like the core series, I feel like I could just end up hopping in and just playing through this game just casually. Like now that I've done the Platinum, I feel like this is a game that's gonna be out there that I can just play multiple times. So I want to talk about this a little bit. I am gonna have spoilers in this video. It's been quite a bit since this game came out, so you know what I want to do. I've actually remembered to record it this time, so I want to just play some footage of my hard mode, lunatic mode fight against the final boss. It might not actually be the hardest, or it's probably the second hardest boss in the game because I didn't do Unknown Signal, which is the post game on hard mode. I did that on the standard difficulty. So I either way, this final boss, which is I guess this final boss is the hardest requirement for the Platinum Trophy, and it was tough. This was a very hard boss. I had to put my, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers like mindset in. And that's the only Souls-like game I've played, so I did have to go into Souls-like mode. It wasn't until after I beat the boss I Googled a little bit about it, and I guess there are some cheeses to it, but I'm very proud of myself with this game that I didn't use any guides or anything for like standard mode or hard mode. I didn't do any kind of cheeses or look anything up. Like this was a very authentic Platinum Trophy, which I mean, okay, there's a couple things I did have to look up. Okay, there's this seeker bot, and that's just this like little robot that is randomly on some parts of the map. It's pretty hidden. I encountered it organically a couple times. I didn't know it could run away, so like I missed it the first time. The second time I found it, like I just like again it ran away. I was on like some rooftops. I fell off. It was out of sight. I wasn't really prepared to go at it. But like at that time I knew I was gonna go for the Platinum Trophy. So early on I wasn't. Like I started the game not thinking I was gonna go for the Platinum Trophy. And I was just like reloading the area, it wasn't coming back, and I googled. I'm like, hey, like, does the secret bot respawn? And some people like claimed it did, some people said it didn't. I might have to reload 20 times, and I just looked for like other areas where the secret bot spawned, and like coincidentally, I found it there. Like, here's the easiest spot, and I didn't try that spot yet, so I went and did that. I actually went prepared to like attack it like fast and efficiently, and I got that one. So that was one, and another one where these like bobblehead bots that are scattered around. They're like collectibles. I found all of them naturally in my first playthrough, except for two of them, and I didn't really know how like you could see them. There's no tracker, so I didn't know exactly which area I needed them in. I had kind of an idea. Maybe there's like somewhat of a like a tracker you can assume in the like the base area, the shelter, based on the placements of where like the bobbleheads are and the missing ones. I maybe had an idea, but I looked to those up. I didn't feel like running around in circles just for the sake of it, because I already did like the whole post game. So just like real quick, going over the story. I thought the story was good, but I didn't think it was anything too crazy. There's some people like, again, I did a little looking online after beating the game, what people thought about it, because I really enjoyed the game. I enjoy it mostly for the gameplay. The story is good. I do like the fact that there's not that many characters. There's only like 3 real characters in the game, being Hugh, and then Deanna, of course, and then you kind of have Edis and 8. You can almost call them 2 characters because I have to name them differently. But really, 8 is controlling Edis, and 8 is pretty much a copy of Deanna. Deanna's basically 9, right? And they're a clone of this Dr. Higgins. You never really see him besides like in like a hologram. And pretty much like his daughter was dying, and so he was developing the Pragmata to try to save her and whatever. And that's why there was, we have 8 and 9 experiments, because they were failed experiments. They were close, but they were fails. And like that's all. That it's not that deep. Like I pretty much assumed that. I was reading all the lore pieces, and it wasn't that crazy. Hugh, he's just trapped on the moon and trying to get off. Deanna, you really get her backstory, and unfolds that, oh, she's like the doctor's daughter, or just like a clone of it. Like the doctor's daughter was used to like clone, like create the Pragmata, and like he was using it to try to save her. And it was cool. And throughout the journey, you really see Hugh and Deanna bond. Like at the shelter, I always talk to Deanna. Like that's one of those things with some of these games. I didn't know if I was going to miss anything out if I didn't talk to her every chance I could. But you kind of see like their bond like get created and all of that, and they get this like father-daughter relationship. Some people don't like that's like this like dad vibe game or whatever, and some people get overly emotional. They're like, I'm a dad and this game really hit me hard. But I am a dad, and I'm just like, but I'm also like, I work in tech. I'm a software engineer, and I never really got that crazy emotional about it, because like in the end, like Deanna is like a AI robot and all of that, and I kind of think that's a little strange still. Like I don't know, I'm not all into like the human loving the AI robot kind of thing. It's a bit strange, but like I don't know, when Hugh got like infected by the black, like I don't even remember what it's called. I call it like the black poison in my head, like the black like Luna filament or whatever. When he got affected by that, and then he knew it was fatal. Like he was asking her questions about it, and she's like, "Nah, I can purge it from robots, but I can't purge it from anything with living cells. It'll just kill them too." And he basically, like, at that point he knew he had to like save the Earth, because 8 misinterpreted Dr. Higgins' final wishes, and so she was going to destroy the Earth. And so he was like, all right, I gotta like save the Earth. And like throughout it, kind of hyping up Earth to Deanna, building up like somewhat of a quote unquote dream for her. And yeah, he sends her off to home. So like, yeah, at the end, when he basically is like, you see that he's dying, and you have that with the piano. It's all about the music, man. That's where it gets a little emotional. But I'm like, oh man, like this was a good ending to the story. But again, it's not that it's not crazy deep, and like it's the world building and the gameplay I like. So like in terms of the world building, I've always been huge into future tech kind of stuff. So this game's filled with like space. So you're on the moon. You got like the future of 3D printed. So like basically like everything in this game has been like 3D printed, right? Like that's this Luna filament material. They're on the moon and like they show off like they can pretty much 3D print like a car. And like throughout the environments, you have like this like New York City like type of setup where they basically 3D printed the whole like city, and then later they're like developed. There's like a nature area where they're greenery and trees and all that. And they're 3D printing that, and so that mixed with like the robotics and the AI. I love this kind of stuff. This is totally my kind of game, my kind of like sci-fi environment. Absolutely love like the world building aspect of that, and then the gameplay, man. The whole shooting and the hacking simultaneously. I love it. I love like the hacking. How it feels like just you're just constantly solving puzzles, like quick and dirty puzzles. Maybe it's just like quick dopamine all the time, but at first you kind of play the game like a little bit of a shooter. You know, you eventually get an automatic gun, and yeah, you can go with the guns. And a lot of times I was just using the hacking to open them, to make them weak, and then shoot them with the guns. And that was a ton of fun. And sometimes I wasn't even thinking about like my hacking nodes, but as you get better at the game and you get more comfortable with the systems, it's a lot of fun to see like how much time you have left. Like, can I maximize the nodes for the open nodes? And you get really strategic about your hacking nodes. And even 32 hours in, I really have only played with like a couple of like I use like the same two like primary guns and the same two supporting guns, and I use like the decoy pretty much with the shotgun, the charge beam, the riot blaster, and the stasis net. I use the same weapon, so I think this game's gonna be a ton of fun where I can go back, just casually run through it, and really focus on just other weapons. The upgrade system is a ton of fun. You're always going back to the shelter, always upgrading. You just feel like you're getting stronger and stronger, and it's fun, but it's also one of the drawbacks, in my opinion, a little bit. Like once you, or very once I really realized what the game was, uh, like for example, so you go from in the levels, you basically are at like the starting area, you're kind of going forward, so like it's kind of like from like Gears of War, you're always like kind of going straight. You hit a checkpoint, and in the checkpoint you can go back to the shelter, upgrade, and go back out and go to the next checkpoint, which I love. By the way, I love how they just made this a video game, right? You're taking the train shuttle to an area, and then you go like, you go straight and you get to your first checkpoint, and then you can just climb down a ladder and get like back to the shelter, which makes absolutely no sense if this is like a big interconnected world and all that. It's like, no, this is a video game, and they never like really explain like, yeah, we can go back to the shelter here, but it makes like absolutely no sense. But I love it because this game remembers that first and foremost, it's a video game. But as I was playing the game, especially on hard mode, I kind of realized it's like, well, if you don't make it to the next checkpoint and you die, you get sent back to the shelter. But you've gotten most likely enough resources through like finding like treasure chests, or just killing enemies and them dropping Luna filament, that you're gonna upgrade naturally. And then when you go back out, you're gonna be stronger and better off. And especially if you're doing an area that you have to open up doors, which you have tons of them, where it's like, oh, well, I gotta open up 6 doors, or like, hit 6 switches in this area, and then I can get through the door, or like find 3 keys so I can go to the next area. If you're just out there for too long, you're gonna do more like combat scenarios, and then there's a higher chance you're gonna like run out of your heals, and there's just a higher chance you're gonna die the longer you're out there. But like when you come back out, you don't have to reopen those doors. So I don't know. You can almost like brute force your way through the game. Maybe that's almost handholdy. I don't know. And then there's like these VR missions that are at the shelter, which are cool. And I love challenges like that. And so like sometimes at the end of my sessions, I didn't feel like going back out. And like, I was like, I don't know if I can make it to the next checkpoint. I'll just stay at the shelter and do some of these VR missions. Cause I didn't even look at the achievement list at this point. And I was like, but I assumed I'm probably gonna have to do all these like VR missions, challenges. And the way I do these challenges are always, it's like all or nothing. There's like the main challenge, and then there's 2 sub challenges, and if you do all of them and complete all of them in one run, you get a crown. And I was like, it's crown or nothing. I have to get all of them or it's nothing. I had a ton of, some were really hard, and it was a ton of fun. I did like 20 of them where I got the crown. And so like sometimes I would do like a few of them, and I didn't like realize how overpowered you get if you just do some of these VR missions and get some of these awards. You get so overpowered, and I was almost like it just became like too easy. My standard playthrough, I was like, oh, I'm like accidentally overpowered myself. Like I did 20 of these before I beat the game, or beat the standard mode, not including post game. But then, and so yeah, even like when I beat the game, then I went to the post game, and which was a great post game. Unknown Signal, absolutely loved Unknown Signal, because it just gets you to do 100% of the areas, and then they're super bosses. I love that. I love super bosses, and I wasn't using the radar scanner at all during the game. I never bothered. I was just finding chests organically, just like walking around. I didn't care about it. I didn't know if I had 100% of the areas or not. I don't look at the achievement list before playing the game. I have to play the game and love the game and then decide to platinum it. And so I just didn't want it to distract from my first playthrough. But which was fine, and then I went back with Unknown Signal. Forces you to go back, ran around, scanned, found the stuff. It was fun. It never took that long to clean up the areas of what I missed. Super bosses were fun, but I was still felt overpowered. They still felt too easy. Not a single super boss in Unknown Signal gave me a rush. None of it made me think that the game was hard. I just felt like I was overpowered, but I still loved Unknown Signal for what it was. It was a great post game. Didn't last too long, but it was still a ton of fun. And then after the post game, I just like cleaned before my hard mode run. I cleaned up a couple achievements. That's when I really looked up those other couple of things, and then part of that was looking up the VR one, and it just said I had to complete the primary mission for all of them, which was like sad because some of those are really hard to get the crown. I already had 20 out of the 30, but then I was just like, man, it's like I don't want to. I don't want to. Like Star Fox is coming out soon from the time I'm recording this, and I want to have this game finished, and like I want the platinum, and I feel like I'm gonna play this game again in the future. I don't need to like not enjoy like what I'm doing, and I don't know. I don't think I wanted to get the crowns for the last 10 of those because it would have been hard, and yeah, I just complained about maybe the game being too easy, but I did just like want to get the platinum like this run, and then like future playthroughs I can do some of that other stuff. Like once I platinum it, I can like then it's just like freedom. I can do whatever I want, and I don't know. I wanted to do hard mode, and I didn't know how hard mode would be, and I wanted to just like get everything and have hard mode be my last achievement. So the requirement for the achievement was just to do the main objective for all the VRs. So I did that, and I didn't know how hard they would be, but they were easy. It was a cake to just like get them. But looking at number 30, I meant like, man, this would have been really hard, and I didn't want to be spending too much time doing this. I only have so much game time. There's so many more games I want to play, but yeah, if I want even more challenge, which even after being hard mode, yeah, I still think like the final VR challenge on lunatic mode would be very hard, and Unknown Signal, the final boss on in the game, like the super boss version of 8 at the end of the game, would be very hard. But I still got my rush on lunatic mode. So lunatic mode I thought was really fun too. But there was only like 3 parts I considered to be like truly hard. And the first was just like getting used to it, like because you don't get to play it on New Game Plus. So just going back to like not having 8 boosts and going back to just like 3 thruster boosts when you're so used to the movement, just being all around weaker. It just took like a second to get used to. It was like this arbitrary like difficulty where you're just underpowered. And so I was doing that, but it was like kind of fun to like dance around the robots, having more health and all that. But I also just wanted to beat the hard difficulty. That was the requirement for the achievement, and I already did it in 100% run playthrough. On standard mode. So I was doing stuff like skipping the red gates and all that. Like I was going for treasure chests and all that. Like I knew the value of the upgrades, but red gates, like I knew those are harder. I was like, I'm just gonna see how far I can get, just by playing naturally, because I was also just complaining that standard mode was too easy. So, I played through the first level. It was a cakewalk, and beat the final boss on my first recite. I might have died once, just like kind of being like too like thinking it was like too easy, and like, oh, I am on hard mode, but I beat him like my second time. The second boss was a bit harder, and but I ended up beating it. Like I just kind of learned its patterns, but still I was probably underpowered, right? It was eventually the third boss was the first boss where I was truly underpowered, and I was really just trying to like do like the Souls like stuff where I could only get hit 3 times, and just like trying to power my way through it, just like an endurance test. And I did that for like an hour, didn't beat it. I was like, man, you know what? I guess okay, whatever. Like I want the trophy. I guess I'll go back and get some upgrades. Uh, you can your guns and everything are pretty weak unless you get pure lumen, which is a resource that is very typically in like the red gates. So I went back and did like some red gates, got the pure lumen, and some of the red gates also get you the canisters, which heal you. So like when I was losing against the third boss, I only had 2 heals. So like I come back with like 4 heals and a bunch of like upgrades, like my charge beam. I have like double shot. Like you just use Luna Filament to upgrade your weapons, but then you hit one that requires a pure lumen, which basically makes it level 2, and then there's like a third level to it as well. And so like upgrading my shotgun, my charge beam, so I have like stronger weapons. I didn't use the overdrive mode in my standard playthrough too much, and in my lunatic playthrough, my strategy was really to use the overdrive, and then it's so powerful, it stuns the bosses and destroys them. In my final against the final boss against 8, that's what I'm really doing. And so I was really upgrading, putting all my other upgrades where you can upgrade your health, your gun, or Deanna's hacking. I was just dumping into Deanna's hacking because I'm like, I just want to build up overdrive and use that and then just unload into the boss. And so as you build up overdrive, you do that by completing hacks. And so I was just dumping into Deanna so that way every hack does more and more damage. So I'm just damaging the bosses as I'm building up overdrive. And so like again, I went in after getting upgrades. I had 4 heals instead of 2, and then of course I don't use a single heal. I just destroy the boss because I also learned the pattern from a previous plays. Fourth boss, Lunar Digger, beat him on my first try on Lunatic. I think it was just part of my leveling up from before. For the third boss, I was still pretty good, and then 8 was pretty hard. I did a night again, just much like the third boss, where it was really hard, and this was giving me the rush that I really wanted from this game. Like that's why I wanted to do post game and hard mode. Is like I loved the gameplay of this, but I never felt like I was really pushing and experiencing all of it in my standard playthrough. And like just the 8 on lunatic mode made me feel like I mastered the system, and that is the feeling I wanted. And I absolutely loved it. Like I did go back and get some more upgrades, but at the same time, like I got my upgrades and I just felt like this was the build I wanted. There wasn't too much more I could go from this. It's like there was no point getting another pure lumen to give me like an extra rate of fire on the shotgun. Like that would have made no difference. Like I basically had the build I wanted, and I eventually beat it. And yeah, after I looked it up, that there's like some cheeses for it apparently, and I didn't even use like some of the weapons that you unlocked that are probably a lot better. But I did it my way. I did that before, like I think on like Wu Chang, where I was like fighting a boss for like 3 hours, and I looked up a strategy, and they gave this strategy that like cheeses the boss, but like it wasn't my strategy, it wasn't my play style, and didn't want to change my play style. And I don't know, I like that though. That's what I love about the game. And also what I liked about my lunatic playthrough is I was just skipping all the cutscenes this time. Sometimes I watch them all, but I just want to finish it before Star Fox and play through it. And sometimes I like, well, on a second playthrough like this, like skipping the cutscenes, because then I'm just purely experiencing the game for what it is, and I can just see the bones of the game, and like I just love it. I love this game, and again, like I feel like I can just hop in and just just do that 8 hour experience on standard mode and just have a ton of fun. And so I played this on the PS5, got the Platinum Trophy. One other thing I wanted to do and talk about is I downloaded the demo on the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm so curious of the Nintendo Switch 2 version, because like I'm sitting here, this game is up there with my favorite games of like the past 2 generations, with the Final Fantasy VII remake and rebirth. and Stellar Blade. Like, this game is up there for new IP and just like one of my favorite like modern video games. And I'm trying to build this ultimate Nintendo Switch 2 library that like includes all these games. So now I'm like, oh man, do I want to get this game on Nintendo Switch 2 eventually if I see it on a discount deal, because I love the game so much, and then I can just like replay it on that system and go away from achievements, like in handheld mode or something. And I was just like, so, and I like keep saying how good the Nintendo Switch 2 is, and how like just how good enough it is. And obviously I was just playing the PS5 version, so I just wanted to know how that really affected me. I enjoyed Resident Evil 9 on the Nintendo Switch 2, but I didn't play the PS5 version. But now I'm playing the PS5 version of Pragmata, and I was like, oh, there's a free demo for the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's check that out. And I was just blown away. I was blown away by this demo, having just played the PS5 version, because I feel like the Nintendo Switch 2 demo is completely uncompromised. Like, yeah, if you get still screenshots, like I'm sure the graphics are like are worse, but I didn't really notice it, and the frame rate was perfect. Graphics were great. Like, I was just playing the game, and I was playing it. I was just doing it on standard mode in the demo because there's no lunatic, and I was just realizing, I'm like, man, I still don't have enough of this game. I just got the platinum, I'm playing the demo, and I loved it. And I loved how the demo was even structured, how it was like the first level of the game, but like they just like have like walls that cut you off and you just skip parts to just make it shorter. I love the demo. Like, if you haven't played this game, like play this demo. But like, I couldn't believe the Nintendo Switch 2 version. It was just like I was just playing Pragmata. It wasn't like it was a slower frame rate at 40 frames per second. The graphics weren't like, I didn't think they were offensive at all. I was just playing the game, and I just absolutely loved it. I can't believe how good the Nintendo Switch 2 demo was. And so, yeah, when I see this game on sale, I'm probably going to pick up the key card for this game and add it to my Nintendo Switch 2 library shelf, because I just love this game so much. And I can, like I said, I use like the same weapons on both playthroughs. So there's like so many weapons and so many hacking nodes I didn't use, and like mods and all of that. That's just like, wow. I played through the first Gears of War so many times, and like Halo, like 1 and 2, like I played through those games so many times. Like, this is just like right up there with a game I can just go and play 8 hours through the campaign and just have a ton of fun. I don't have to like reread the lore every time. I'll watch the cut, like the next time, since more time will pass. Yeah, I'll watch the cutscenes again, especially like preparing for like a Pragmata 2, which, you know, they left the door open for that. If you beat the Unknown Signal, there is like a little bit of extra dialogue. It's nothing too crazy, but it does leave the door open for a sequel. I don't know how they'll do that, if they'll if they'll go the Resident Evil route, because this is in the Resident Evil engine. You can totally see it with the robots. They're basically just zombies, and this whole game just has so much Resident Evil vibes to it. But yeah, I don't know if they'll introduce new characters. I think it'd be awesome if they introduce new characters, and then eventually you like see like Hugh or Deanna again. Like, there's like so much they can do with it. It's a big corporation again, just like Resident Evil, like with Umbrella Corp. You got like this Delphi Corp, which is, Delphi was so funny too, because like I worked professionally in a programming language or IDE called Delphi, so like that was just like really funny too. I could really relate to that. I absolutely love this game, you guys. It's so good. You have to play it. I recommend it at the highest degree. Like, this is so far my game of the year. I liked it more than Resident Evil 9. I can't get enough of it. I want to play more, and that's crazy. I haven't had many platinum trophy experiences that I just like still want to play more at the end of it. A lot of the times I feel like, phew, like, all right, that felt good, like I'm done. But no, I like still want to play more, and that's an exciting feeling. I haven't had that. I don't know if I've ever had that. And yeah, again, I'm confident double dipping in this game from the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and like that might be something I do some days. Just play in handheld mode, play with different weapons, and yeah, like if they announce Pragmata 2 eventually, like I'll be like, yeah, I gotta play through this again before that comes out, and I don't think I'll be burnt out. Just so much fun, you guys. And so I don't know. That's my review. I don't know, 9 out of 10 or something. It's hard to call a game a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I don't know. Do I call this a 10 out of 10? Maybe personally. That might be biased, though. 9 out of 10 sounds more politically correct, if you ask me. But I don't know. I loved it, you guys. So, super recommend it. Check it out. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.